When we're talking to customers in our showroom about different Dyson vacuums, some customers can't really understand why there is such a price difference between all the Dyson range of vacuum cleaners. So what I want to do is just to show you some of the differences between one of the cheapest, which is the Dyson V8, and one of the most expensive, the Dyson Gen 5 Detect Absolute. On the whole, prices tend to vary all the time, but on average, the Dyson V8 will hover between £250 and £300, and on the Gen 5 Detect Absolute tends to hover between £600 and £700. So really what I'm trying to do is to find out, is it worth paying more than twice as much to get the Gen 5? I've removed the wand and the brush bar from each model because if I'm going to be holding both of them for the whole video, then my arms are going to ache too much. Anyway, as far as the runtime, because that's one of the main factors that people look at when comparing different Dyson vacuums, then on the V8 you get up to 40 minutes runtime. So on this one, you actually get a switch to turn it on and off, like this. So what you have to do is you have to keep your finger on the trigger, and for some people that's okay. Other people are not too keen on it, because what it means is if you suffer with things like arthritis, or generally if you just suffer with your hands, then having to keep your finger on the trigger can be a bit of a pain. Also on this model, you've actually got two options. So you've got a high and a low setting. But basically you can get up to 40-minute runtime with this. Of course that's going to be on the lowest setting. As you go up to the higher turbo power setting, then that will reduce the runtime by quite a lot. As we go to the Gen 5, then on this one you actually get up to 70 minutes runtime. So an extra half an hour runtime, which can make a huge difference. So if you have got a large house, and if you tend to say vacuum once a week, and if you're just going to go and do it all in one go, then that could make the difference for you on which model to go for. Now on this, as far as the on and off button, it is slightly different. Dyson have listened to customer feedback because a lot of people don't really like the trigger-based system. So on some of their newer models, they've started to introduce the on and off button like this. And personally, I think that's a much better way of doing it, rather than having the trigger. What Dyson claimed, the main reason they had the trigger-based system is that when you move, say, from one room to another, rather than just leaving the vacuum on, which I suppose some people will tend to do, then when you take your finger off the trigger, then you're not using the power, which can extend the runtime. But clearly, they've really listened to customer feedback and gone for the proper on and off button. On this model, you've actually got 3 power settings, so rather than just having the 2 on the V8, you've got 3 to pick from this model. Also, you've got an auto setting, so what it will do is it will actually increase or decrease the suction depending on the surface that you vacuum in, and that always makes a huge difference. What it will also do is it will also show you on the little display as to the time remaining that you've got to vacuum. So the main advantage is if you were, say, using the boost setting, and if it only said you've got, say, 7 minutes left, and if you've still got a lot to vacuum, then what you can do is you can actually reduce the suction and increase the runtime so that you can complete the job. Is weight an important factor for you? If it is, then I'll just show you the weight of the 2 vacuums. So this is just the handheld part with no extra tools attached. So you're looking at 1,545 grams on the V8. And as we go over to the Gen 5, then there you're looking around, well, just over 2.2 kilograms. So for some people, the extra weight of the Gen 5 could make a difference as to which model to go for. Bin capacity varies quite a bit as well. On the V8, this has maximum capacity of up to 0.54 litres, and to empty it, it is quite easy. You've just got the handle at the top. All you need to do is pull that, and the bin will empty at the bottom. So clearly you need to do that over, ideally do it in an outside bin. Last thing you want to do is to empty that into an internal bin, because you can find that the dust will come back up at you. Clearly we use these as demonstrations, models in a showroom, that's why the bins have got a bit of dirt in there. As far as the Gen 5, on this one, slightly bigger capacity, up to 0.77 litres. And to empty this, you've got a handle underneath. Just push that, and then the bin will open at the end. And then to put it back, all you need to do is shut the lid like that. Having the extra capacity could make a difference for you, because it means that you're not having to empty the bin so often. So if you've got a large area to vacuum, then perhaps the Gen 5 is the one to look at. How easy are they to maintain? On the V8, you've got the filter on the top here, so that one just comes out, just give it a quick rinse, just under cold water, let it dry completely for around 24 hours, then pop it back in. Same as this one, you've got the filter on the back. Again, you can wash that, leave it for around 24 hours, and then pop it back on, just twist it, then you're ready to go. So as far as general maintenance, nice and easy. As far as the Gen 5, similar concept. Just twist off the filter. This one, as you can see, it's a little bit dirty, so it could do with a bit of a clean. But with this, just rinse it under water, let it dry for around 24 hours, then put it back on. So as far as the maintenance between the two vacuums, there's not really a lot in it. Now you'll find with all of the models that there are sub-models within that range. And what I mean by that is you could have a Dyson V8, so you could have the standard V8, which is the one I've got, or there are other models, things like the Absolute as well. And the main difference are, first of all, the colour, so the colour tends to vary, but also the number of accessories that come with it as well. So on the standard Dyson V8, you tend to get a couple of tools. On this one, you get this, which is a combination tool. And really, as it says, it's a combination of two different tools. First of all, you've got the soft bristle brush here. And if you press the button, then it will move down and change into, basically it's like an upholstery tool as well. So if you want to do things like your stairs or car seats, that's quite a good one to use. Also, you've got this is a rigid crevice tool. And this is really ideal for getting down the side of things like sofas or in harder to reach areas. So those are the two standard tools that come with the Dyson V8. And you will find, if you were to look at one of the other models, for example, things like the Absolute, then you get quite a few more accessories with it. With the Gen 5, you've got quite a few more tools. So the first one is this. This is a built-in dusting and crevice tool. So this is really designed to be, I suppose, similar to the combination tool. It is a two-in-one tool. So you've got this, which is similar to a crevice tool. It's not quite as thin at the end. And then you can just pop that up as well to get a soft dusting brush. But what this is designed to do is this will actually sit on the vacuum all the time. So it just saves you having to have it separate to complement all the other tools it comes with. And what you can do is it will actually go within the end like this. So it just sits there like that. And if you want to take it out, then you can do, but I suppose most of the time you just keep it in there when you're using it as a main vacuum cleaner. One of the other accessories it comes with is this. This is called the Fluffy Optic Cleaner Head. And with this one, this is designed to have a green laser shining on the floor, and it just enables you to help to see where the dirt is. And it's really good. I'm not going to do a demonstration of it because I've covered that in one or two of the other videos I've done on the Gen 5. But it's something that Dyson have had on several models now, including a couple of the V15 models. With the fluffy head, it's designed to be used on hard floor surfaces, things like laminate or wood or tile, for example, rather than long pile carpets where this wouldn't really work. One of the final tools it comes with is this one. This is called the hair screw tool. And Dyson have realised that the whole pet industry for getting at things like pet hair or even long hair, if you've got family members with long hair and they tend to molt like your animals, then things like this can be really, really good. One of the other main manufacturers has had like an anti-hair wrap design around their vacuum cleaners, and for them that's worked wonders because the design does work. So Dyson cottoned onto this, and to be fair, they were a little bit late to the market, but now they've caught up, then this goes down really well. And with this, it's what they call the anti-tangle screw on here. And really the idea is that rather than the hair getting wrapped around this, then it will actually stop that, and it will just go into the vacuum itself. Now you will find with any manufacturer, not just Dyson or the other main manufacturers we're talking about, you will find with any of them that it's not 100% effective. You could find that you still get hair wrapped around here, but at least having the some of this technology, the anti-tangle screw, as Dyson will call it, then it just reduces the amount of hair you get wrapped around it. As mentioned earlier, that not all the tools and accessories are the same when it comes to all the models, so you could find that going for a slightly better model could be an advantage because you get an extra tools. Other way around, personally what I'd do is I'd look at all the tools and accessories and have a look, are you going to use all those tools and accessories? If you're not, then perhaps go for a lower model where you could save a bit of money. When it comes to the main floor heads on both vacuums, I'll just show you these. So this is the one on the V8 over here, and then this is the one with the Gen 5. So you will find that overall, size-wise, they're actually pretty much the same. so there's not really an advantage of going for one over the other. The advantage of the Gen 5 is that you have got a switch on the front here. I can't do it at the moment because I'm holding this. Tell you what, let's put this down and I'll show you, because I do think it's worth showing you. So you've got a switch on there, and when you flick the switch, you'll see these will pop up. And the main advantage of that is if you have got large particles, so if, for example, the kids have spilled breakfast cereal, then that, if you flick that across, then having those little gaps at the front do make a huge difference to getting the larger particles up. Because you can find with the V8, if you're trying to get up breakfast cereal, especially on a hard surface where it's going to push things forward, then that can make life a lot easier going for this model. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a couple of tests, and I'm going to vacuum at the same time, which makes it a little bit more awkward for me, but I just want to make it completely and utterly fair, so I'm vacuuming at the same speed. And what I'm going to do on the first test, I'm actually going to use the minimum suction to see how effective it is. Now on the floor here, I've just put some porridge oats, and I use porridge oats because sometimes on this carpet that I'm going to vacuum on, it's quite wiry, and I must admit it's not a very nice carpet that we've got in the showroom. But the reason I use the porridge oats is because sometimes some vacuums can struggle. So let's see how we get on. So I'd personally say there wasn't a huge difference between the two. As I say, they were both on the minimum setting. Now what I'm going to do for the next test, I'm actually going to put them on the maximum suction, but also what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass over the oats a lot quicker. So rather than nice and steady, I'm going to basically go over a lot quicker to see how effective it is. But put them both on maximum suction. So let's see how we get on. I'm really impressed with both models on the pickup ability of the oats on the floor, because I know some of the vacuums I've vacuumed up before in some of the tests, they've really struggled. Now I have found that depending on the different types of food that I've put on the floor in the tests, that can make quite a difference. I know when I did a rice test before, then the Gen 5 really did win hands down compared to some of the models. What you'll find is that the actual suction on both models varies a huge amount. So you're comparing 115 air watts on the V8 compared to 280 air watts on the Gen 5. So the actual suction will be a lot better on the Gen 5. So if you're going for one of the models, which one would you go for? Would you go for the V8 that essentially is a lot cheaper? It's got up to 40-minute runtime, but you have got the trigger-based system for turning it on and off, and up to 0.54 litre capacity. So is this one that would be of interest to you? Or would you go for the Gen 5? And with this one, there's so much more to it. I mean, I've barely scratched the surface when it comes to some of the things it also does. Also within the display at the back, you've actually got different sections on here, and it will show you the different dust particles that you're picking up as well. So there is a lot more to it compared to the standard V8. With this one, it has a maximum of up to 70-minute runtime compared to the 40 minutes on the V8, and also the bin capacity is larger as well at 0.77 litres. But then it's heavier, and the on and off button is a proper on and off button, so that's a huge advantage too. Hope you enjoyed this quick video comparing the Gen 5 and the V8 Dyson models. I know there's a huge amount I could have talked about, but I just wanted to keep the video pretty short on some of the main comparisons between the two, and some of the reasons why you would pay more than twice as much to go for one of the better models like this. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just give us a quick thumbs up, click subscribe, leave any comments below. If you've got one of these models, or if you've got any of the Dyson models in between these, let me know what you think about it, because I do always appreciate the feedback. And as I mentioned earlier, which one would you go for from the information that I've given you? Thanks for joining me today.